What's up everyone, I welcome you once again to one of my tutorials. In this session we will create a simple sidebar app. This Flutter Sidebar App, as I named it, will feature the home page, the sidebar, which will contain the Flutter user's image, his name, surname, his email address, and then 4 pages that he can access. They are going to be home, search, bar chart, and settings. And as the Flutter user, we are gonna be able to jump through each of them. And that's it. Let's start creating. This is a new project creation dialog in the Android Studio. Let's select Flutter and click Next. So in this form we are going to define the new project. This means project name, project location, description, project type, organization, Android language, iOS language, all the platforms. But I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm going to define only the project name, and I'm going to remove Windows and Linux from the platforms because I'm not really going to need those as I have Mac. But if you need those, you can keep them. And I will click Finish. Now the new project should be set up by Android Studio. I will place the iPhone virtual machine next to my Android Studio. Now let's try to build a project and wait until it loads. It loaded pretty quickly and now I can try it out. I will just press this button a few times to see if it works. It does. Now let's clean up the main Dart a little bit. Let's clean up the remarks and let's change this deep purple to the blue color. Now let's delete everything else. Let's rename my homepage to homepage. Now let's create a directory homepage with a file inside of that directory called the same, homepage. Let's create a class for homepage which is going to be a stateless widget. Let's select create one missing override, and instead of throwing unimplemented error we return a scaffold. Let's import that library and let's create an up bar with the title Flutter Sidebar App, and let's hit Ctrl S on Windows or Command S on Mac. And suddenly we see the app on the right side has changed and the app bar there carries the name Flutter Sidebar App, and that's great. Now let's change the background color to primary, which is blue, and save. Using style we change the font color to white. Let's remove the unnecessary cons keyword. And that's it for the home page. We have a nice white page title on a blue background on an iPhone in my case. In your case it could be also an Android phone or a tablet. Now let's create a body which will be a simple centered text child saying this is the home page. This way when we will be jumping from one page to another we can recognize the page we are currently on. But to achieve that we first need a drawer, and that drawer needs a list view. And now before we implement anything else, you can already see this sandwich icon here. When you press it, an empty list pops up, and we know it's empty because it doesn't contain any items in the form of children just yet. But before we implement them, let's change the color of this icon to white and let's save. Now let's press it, and of course the list pops up again. We didn't change anything about the list, but now it reacts to pressing on a beautiful white icon. Let's create first children of the list. This one is called UserAccountsDrawerHeader. It's a ready-made widget that you can use to display current users' properties, and this is how you can add those properties. So let's add account name, account email. Now I need to add a const modifier. And even if account name and account email are assigned a null value, which in terms of general software development means no value, the widget is already there and it renders just like this. Now let's assign a value to account name. In my case, I will call the user simply Flutter user. Let's have a look. Here it is. And now I will show you something I really love about Flutter. I will open the drawer again and let's observe how the running app immediately changes once we assign a value to account, email and save. We can see that Flutter user at example.com immediately appears here in the sidebar inside of a running app while maintaining the sidebar open. Now the same way, let's create a circle for the user's avatar. And let's add white background color with Flutter user's initials FU. Now the header of the sidebar looks pretty good. And we can start adding list tiles. We want to design them real quick. That's why for now we specify the leading icon in our case and title. This will be the one for homepage. Now let's copy its contents and change it into search. That will be for the search page. Let's create a directory for pages. And let's put there the file SearchPage.dart. Let's for this case declare SearchPage as a stateless widget. And let's return a scaffold with an app bar with title search and body carrying the text, and this is the search page. In the end, let's declare search as a variable. And in the main Dart, let's declare a route called search that will point directly to the search page. In the home page Dart, let's add an onTap action for the home option in the list, which will always bring us home. And another onTap action which will bring us to the search page. But as you can see, the top title bar or app bar has got a white background and a black font color, which is wrong. So let's change the background to primary. And it will look blue like this. Now let's change the color of the font into white. And let's give it a const modifier. Now let's change the icon color for routing back to white as well, like this. And now if we jump around between pages, it looks really good. Let's create another list tile. And let's name it a bar chart and its page also bar chart. And if we tap it now, we get an error like this because we don't have such a page just yet. So let's create it by copying SearchPage Dart into BarChartPage Dart. And now let's change the word search everywhere into bar chart. And in the main Dart file, let's create a reference for the bar chart route, which will lead us directly to bar chart page. While bar chart page is a completely simple page, just like search page, doesn't have any additional functionality except it can display the text. This is the bar chart page, just so we know where we are when we click through the app. So this would be the bar chart. And now in homepage start, by copying the bar chart list tile, let's create our last list tile. Let's change the icon from bar chart to settings. Name also changes to settings. And the root changes from bar chart to settings as well. Now let's copy search page into settings page. And let's rename every search word into settings word. Also, let's create a settings root point by copying search root point and renaming everything there into settings. And finally, the settings page gets displayed. Now we can jump between all the pages. And this is how our new simple sidebar app looks like. Please like, comment, and if this is the first time you are watching one of my videos, don't forget to subscribe. See you soon!